Hello and welcome to Northwest Newsweek. I'm Ryan Graham. A long-standing gold mine on the North Shore is being sold to a Vancouver-based investment firm, bringing a sense of security to the neighboring town. Marathon Mayor Rick Dumas believes the pending purchase of the Hemlo gold mine by Carcetti Capital Corporation bodes well for the future of the operation. Barrick Mining Corporation has reached an agreement to sell the mine for up to $1 billion US. The deal includes cash, shares in the renamed Hemlo Mining Corporation, and payments linked to gold production over 5 years. With more than 700 jobs that rely on the mine, Dumas believes the sale is great news.
If I was to be looking at myself as a business person buying in an asset that had only a few years left of life of mine, I would certainly not be investing that kind of money. So I believe that the investment is a good, solid indicator for the town of Marathon that we're going to have a long future in the mining sector. And we're looking forward to those years going forward. And how does that look for us as a community? And how does that look for them as a corporate citizen? And how do we work together and make sure that the jobs are secured?
Barrick's president in a news release says, quote, "The sale of the mine at an attractive valuation marks the close of Barrick's long and successful chapter at the mine." The Ontario government has announced an investment of almost $62 million for a street rehabilitation project in Greenstone. The money will allow Main Street in Geraldton to be completely redone to help prepare it for heavy use by the planned development of the Ring of Fire mining area. Planned since last fall, the province calls the road a critical infrastructure project that will be the gateway to the Ring of Fire. The project will connect Highway 11 at the south end to Highway 584 at the north and will be the first segment on the planned road network to the remote mining area. Indigenous Affairs Minister Greg Rickford made the announcement in Toronto. He says the project will bring benefits to the province, Greenstone, and the First Nations in that area.
The fact of the matter is that these roads are essential for winter road access for the isolated communities. These are roads that bring in supplies and materials for the next year's build. And because of the effects of climate change, no question about it, those winter roads have gone from 4 to 6 weeks back in my time when I was working as a young man and a nurse in those communities to as little as a couple of weeks.
Officials with Noma expressed excitement and support of the announcement. Well, a Nipigon couple has sustained non-life-threatening injuries after a bear attacked them in their home this past week. The bear entered the home when the couple went to let their dog out. They were able to barricade themselves in a bedroom after escaping the animal. Emergency services came and located the bear in the basement where it was being contained by the family dog. Police removed the injured couple from the home and they were transported to hospital. The bear was then killed by police without further incident. The head of the Nuclear Waste Management Organization addressed local business leaders this week in Thunder Bay. And they also answered questions about the underground repository plan for the Ignace area. And WMO President and CEO Lori Swamy was a special guest at the Leaders Luncheon, hosted by Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce. Justin Hardy reports.
Lori Swamy addressed a room full of Thunder Bay business leaders during Thursday's Chamber Luncheon. She gave updates to where the planned nuclear waste facility project stands, now in the beginning of this 10-year-long regulatory process. Swamy says there will be a lot of opportunities coming up for Thunder Bay as the project moves ahead.
We're going to have a large workforce move to the Ignace area, and of course the workforce itself will be shopping and coming to Thunder Bay for all of the things that Thunder Bay can offer. But we're also going to be building major infrastructure project, and we're going to need all of the supply chain local to this area. So we'll be building supply chains in Thunder Bay, in the local area, in Ignace, and beyond. So the whole region will benefit from this project.
After the keynote speech, gathered business leaders had the opportunity to ask questions and raise concerns surrounding the project. Swamy says they brought up a variety of different topics.
There was questions about how Indigenous businesses can participate with us, questions about the transportation method and route to the site, and a little bit of discussion around how Canada places quite high in the implementation of used fuel disposal systems.
A few anti-nuclear waste protesters gathered outside the venue near the NWMO's Mobile Learn More Center. The underground repository project is valued at around $26 billion. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
The township of Ignace has put out a request for proposals seeking developers for a large subdivision, which could eventually contain over 260 residential lots. Officials say the town needs to expand to accommodate the future nuclear waste management projects in that area. For now, Ignace is looking for qualified developers to purchase and develop 46 fully serviced residential lots, potentially starting next year. The municipality also seeks proposals for building on 250 unserviced residential lots nearby and on a 6-acre block designated for multi-residential development. Town spokesperson Jake Pastore says with the planned underground repository and the new Center of Expertise building, Ignace will really need the space.
We want to make sure that the people that are coming in to work in the community are able to stay in the community, are able to not look elsewhere, to Dryden or other locations that are near Ignace. We want them to stay in Ignace, and that means we'd have to have affordable housing. And so that's why we're moving forward with this RFP.
The RFP is posted at bedingo.com, an online portal for public sector tenders. The federal government is investing $223,000 into 3 North Shore communities. The funding delivered through FedNor is intended to support the development of strategic plans in those towns. Justin Hardy reports.
The funds will be going to the towns of Schreiber, Nipigon, and Terrace Bay, with each community getting over $70,000. This is intended to support the development of 5-year strategic plans in each community to help identify opportunities for economic growth. Haidu says it's important that these plans are community-led.
Each community is going to develop a plan that's very specific for their region, and oftentimes these are challenging plans to develop. If you have a small community without a viable industry partner, a lot of times these communities have relied on a single big industry partner, and that industry partner leaves. For example, in the case of Terrace Bay, it is very challenging to recreate an economy.
The town of Nipigon has already created this new plan, and the $72,000 from FedNor will be reimbursing the town. CAO Lars Moffat says the plan has a number of goals.
A big part of that is around housing for sure and economic development. So looking at existing housing that we have, how we can incentivize housing to be able to come to the community, other development economically, can we incentivize commercial or industrial businesses to be able to come to Nipigon, and what are we going to offer to be able to make that happen?
The Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association was very pleased to hear of the investments. President Rick Dumas says these strategic plans are crucial in helping municipalities develop their local economies.
How do we diversify our economies? Listen, I've been on council for some 31 plus years, and it's a very tough road to go forward without an industry in your municipality. So hopefully within the funding that these communities will receive, they can look at the bigger picture. What does that look like for all of their services? What's the economic opportunities, diversification, tourism? There's multiple things that you can diversify.
Justin Hardy, TVT News.
The chair of the Anishinaabe-Aski Police Service Board has tendered his resignation 1 month after he was charged by the OPP with impaired driving and dangerous driving. Frank McKay has had a long career in First Nations leadership, including as chair and CEO of the Wendigo First Nations Council. According to NAPS, McKay notified the board about the charges against him and offered to take a leave of absence. But instead, the board decided on August 27th to suspend McKay due to the criminal charges he's facing. McKay tenders his resignation on September 4th. The media release points out that McKay is presumed innocent until the case goes to court, and that the board is committed to transparency and accountability. NAB's Vice Chair Jason Batiste will now serve as acting chair of the board. Ontario Mines Minister spoke to gathered industries at the Sencan Expo in Thunder Bay last week. Stephen Lecce reiterated his government's commitment to supporting the mining industry's growth in the wake of external economic threats. Justin Hardy reports.
Ontario's Minister of Energy and Mines made a quick stop to address mining industry stakeholders during a Sencan luncheon at the Elks Lodge. There, he reaffirmed the government's plan for the new One Project, One Process framework for advanced exploration and mine development projects.
This plan, Ontario's plan, will emerge as one of the fastest permitting systems in the industrialized world. We're going to exceed the European Union, who has a 27-month approval process. We will be at 24. And I came here personally to commit to you to see this plan through.
The one project, one process model developed by the Ford government is designed to reduce the time needed to fully permit a mine by 50%. Lecce insists it will not affect the province's duty to consult with First Nations peoples.
We have an obligation constitutionally and morally to consult meaningfully with territorial right holders. That is entirely respected and it is codified in the Constitution. So our requirement as the government is that project proponents got to do a good job, a meaningful job on that consultation. But having said that, on our side, the things I control in government is the speed by which we permit a mine. And it takes too long. 15 years is an affront to the common sense of Canadians.
Lecce also spoke on the importance of Ontario working with Canada to combat economic threats from the south and overseas.
We need to seize this moment. And I came here to say, let's unite as Canadians. Let's rally around this opportunity. And today, the Prime Minister, I think as I speak, is announcing some of the first tranche of nation-building projects. And the media will suggest that small modular reactors is part of that vision and the Ring of Fire. If that is true, that is a positive step forward. We may share different parties, but we are on the same team right now, fighting for the same interests. We're on Team Canada.
Justin Hardy, TVT News.
Coming up after the break, the annual Firecon event brings firefighters from across the region together for a wide variety of fire and rescue training.
Standardized training is crucial within the fire service.
Welcome back. Hundreds of firefighters from across the north traveled to Thunder Bay last week to take part in critical fire and rescue training activities. The 5-day Firecon event helped them learn new skills and then take them home to train others in their communities. We'll start our coverage with the auto extrication training. Jaden Billick reports.
Firecon is back in Thunder Bay this week, bringing firefighters from across northwestern Ontario together for specialized training. The annual event features theory-related and hands-on activities such as vehicle extrication. Atikokan Fire Chief and the lead instructor for the 1006 Common Passenger Program, Grant Warburton, explains what's happening here at Gary's Towing.
Yeah, today they're removing doors, driver door first. That's a very common area that we'd find somebody in trapped. And then they'll work to the other sides, the passenger and the rear doors. And then later on today, we'll be doing roof removal. Yes, standardized training is crucial within the fire service. One, because of mutual aid. If you have one fire service meeting another fire service to work on a larger incident, to have standardized training, understanding exactly how to remove patients is a key role.
Firefighters are practicing with the jaws of life, cutting and peeling back doors to reach trapped passengers. Instructors like Training Officer Devin Knoll with the Dryden Fire Service are guiding them step by step, from stabilizing the car to removing glass and metal, all to stay within what they call the golden hour of time it takes to get from the scene to a medical professional.
My crew is doing amazing. They're just taking a break right now. It's actually a pretty cool day. So we just finished doing a door removal on a passenger vehicle, wheel resting, and they did fantastic. A lot of them learning new skills. We have some experience and some new people, so everyone's having a good time. They're learning new things today.
Well, as a student here, just like all the other firefighters, we're here to learn the techniques for safety for us and also patients to be able to get them out and to EMS so that they can get the care they need. What we're able to bring back to our communities is this training and also the knowledge and the networking that we've had with the other communities, those that will be supporting us.
Jaden Billick, TBT News.
The Firecon event saw a heartfelt training exercise on September 11th in honor of those firefighters who died during the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The visiting firefighters took part in a stair climbing marathon to replicate the flights of stairs those firefighters courageously climbed on that fateful day. Emma Chilton reports.
The third day of Firecon had a special training exercise that paid tribute to the firefighters of September 11th, 2001. Thunder Bay Fire Rescue Chief Dave Paxton says because of the timing of the convention this year, the board thought it would be fitting to train on stairs to honor those who tried to save countless lives during that tragic event.
You know, 9/11 was an important event, and we thought as the board, this is the first time in a long time that we've lined up with 9/11. Usually Firecon was a week earlier, so we thought it'd be fitting to add something as an option in order to recognize the events that happened. So both here at the training center and at the Valhalla Inn, our students that can choose to are going to participate in teams of 5 to replicate the 110 flights that those firefighters and those people within the buildings navigated on that day.
There was also a fire investigation program that teaches volunteer firefighters to properly find the origin and cause of a fire. Lead instructor Chris Rennie says the instructors will purposely burn a small unit and students will go in and learn how to investigate.
There's 13 students in this program. This course is developed to teach all of the province. So we work for the province of Ontario, developing programs for the north specifically. So this was put together for students to learn how to understand how fire grows, develops, and determine origin and cause and circumstances of the fire.
We spoke to a volunteer firefighter from Emo, and he told us how the pump operator course is going.
Spoke to my chief, and he needed a little extra hand in our town. We're a small town of Emo. There's not too many people there, so he asked me if I wanted to take a pump operator course. I'm just a volunteer. I just started in January, so it's I feel it's a great thing to learn, especially just being new to this and understanding how our pumps work and how to supply pressure to the firemen and the nozzles.
Emma Chilton, TBT News.
Meanwhile, a mobile fire training unit was set up at the Valhalla Hotel parking lot for the Firecon event. It helps trainees practice their fire attack methods, team communication, and search and rescue skills. Jessa Clement has that story.
Day 4 of Firecon saw a continuation of the various classes and courses at the conference's 3 locations around the city. At the Valhalla Hotel parking lot, volunteer firefighters were able to take part in a live fire training session. The mobile training unit simulates a house fire, where crews can practice various fire attack methods, search and rescue, and ventilation.
They're going to go inside of the building with their hose lines, they're going to locate the fire, and they're going to apply water to cool and extinguish the fire. Once that's done, they're going to ventilate the structure, remove the heated gases inside and the smoke to improve visibility and be able to help with their search and rescue efforts. And while they're doing all that, they're looking for patients, looking for victims, and if they come across somebody, they're going to remove them from the structure.
Kenora Deputy Fire Chief Dexter Hoopy says the whole week of Firecon has been incredible, noting all 10 training courses have been running smoothly. He emphasizes the importance of training simulations like the mobile unit.
We're seeing the number of fires decrease, but we're seeing the severity of the fires increase. So we're seeing less fires, but more fatal ones. So this gives our students the opportunity to practice those skills in a controlled environment before going to somebody's home and doing it. So that way when they get there, they're proficient in their skills, they're efficient with their teams, and they can get the job done safely.
It was actually really fun. I really enjoyed it. I got to be the nozzle person, so that was cool.
17-year-old Logan Dunn Chabukwe is a volunteer firefighter from Wawagun Lake, Ojibwe Nation. He says the conference is a great opportunity for those who live in smaller communities that don't have the resources to train their firefighters.
It was a great experience because out there, since we're in the Kenora district, unfortunately we are pretty landlocked in the forms of that a lot of big companies don't have the room nor the space to come out there and train, like bring all these people out there. So Thunder Bay is like the closest area, so it's really great when people are actually funding the ability to come way out here to do all this awesome training that the people working here have put together.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Dryden, Kenora, and Fort Frances have teamed up on an on-air service feasibility study and a new stakeholder survey in hopes of bringing a passenger airline back to their airports. Dryden CAO Roger Nesbitt says things have been tough since Bearskin Airlines canceled service in their community last year.
When an airport has passenger scheduled service, as long as they can get to a certain passenger threshold, they qualify for a federal airport capital assistance program. So that's federal funding for airside infrastructure, facilities, equipment, things like that. So that alone financially has been extremely impactful for the municipality.
In January 2024, Bearskin Airlines announced it would be ending service to the cities of Dryden, Kenora, and Fort Frances in May of that year. Now a collaboration between the three communities is seeking to restore reliable and cost-effective commercial air service to connect them to larger centers. Nesbitt says proving that such a service would be worth it to an airline is just the first step.
We have to be realistic, about the situation and understand that that carriers, especially with all the changes in the aviation industry since the pandemic, air carriers aren't willing to to take a substantial financial risk, and they're looking for their profitability to be guaranteed at the end of the day.
The feasibility study is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year. The survey is set to close on September 26. Pikangikum First Nation is getting a new grocery store and a motel. We'll have the details after the break. Welcome back. Some major retail developments are getting underway in Pikangikum First Nation. A groundbreaking ceremony was held on Tuesday in the remote community for a new motel and restaurant, along with a modular grocery store.
Today's a great day. We're doing the groundbreaking ceremony. This is where Indigenous economies are growing. This is where we're exercising our sovereignty. And I want to give a hats off to Chief and Council for coming together and bringing this type of economics to your community, where you guys will reap the benefits and have better food, better service, all serviced by your own people. So that's a big congratulations in itself.
Manitoba-based Bison Modular is partnering with the community to build the 20,000 square foot grocery store, which will also have a pharmacy, laundromat, and a hardware store. The modular components will be brought to Pikangikum on a barge. The components for the 36-room hotel and diner are already in the community and ready for construction on land that's been cleared for both developments. Several children took part in the groundbreaking ceremony. The new facilities are expected to be ready to open in the spring or summer of 2026. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you for joining us for Northwest Newsweek. I'm Ryan Graham. See you next time.